With Elio hitting Disney Plus, I knew this was a video I had to make. I saw this film in theaters, and honestly, something about it really disturbed me. Not the characters, or even really the story itself, but the problem is its message. And what's shocking is how few people even noticed it. The truth is, the message this movie pushes is simply evil. There's really no way around it. Now, as a genuine fan of Pixar, there were parts of Elio I really did enjoy. It was a fun watch, don't get me wrong. But if you've been on this channel before, you'd know that I'm someone who's very critical of the messaging in movies, a lot more than most people are. And Elio's message is a really dangerous one, more dangerous than most of Pixar's other movies. This movie is deeply rooted in the occult, but unlike some of Pixar's other movies, people who aren't well versed in this stuff aren't gonna pick up on it. Now, in the broader sense, there's an agenda going on, not just with this movie, but all movies that push this idea of aliens, because it's simply a secular spin on the fallen angels of scripture. They try to get you fascinated with this idea of what could be out there in the universe, but it's all just mental programming. Outer space is not real, it's fiction, and aliens are demons. What I found super interesting is how if you pay attention to this movie, Elio never actually goes to outer space. He goes through portals and has spiritual experiences, which is actually in line with real UFO encounters and the viewpoint of scripture. Elio's a kid that has an obsession with aliens. Now, what's strange is that they actually changed his whole storyline somewhere in the course of development, because if you go back and look at the original trailers, Elio was actually scared of aliens. But in the finished film, they went the complete opposite route and gave him an obsession with them. And they used this whole alien contact thing to try to convey their message about loneliness and belonging. Pixar's done this since the very beginning. They use different concepts to try to communicate a message that matches. Like, for example, Toy Story uses toys to tie into the theme of growing up. Or Cars, probably one of the best examples, uses sentient cars to communicate that it's good to slow down in life, kind of playing on the irony of a race car being designed to drive fast. So now in Elio, we're taking this question of what's out there in the universe, and using that to tie into what it means to belong, and how do we deal with loneliness. But in doing that, it glorifies these demonic beings as things we want to come in contact with. It's trying to tell us that this is where we find belonging, in reaching out to the spirit realm. Elio lives in a broken family, which is what they really love to portray in these movies. Take the parents out of the picture and you're free to manipulate the kids to do whatever you want. The movie is basically saying, yeah, if you're feeling lonely, reach out to the demons. They'll accept you with open arms. You might say I'm being dramatic, but it's really not. When kids watch this and see Elio sitting in a circle of crystals performing a satanic ritual, I guarantee that the kids that are on the younger end of the spectrum watching this will probably be tempted to go home and try this out for themselves. There's also a ton of demonic symbolism in the movie. Notice how Elio's wearing an eye patch throughout the whole movie. If you know anything about animation, the last thing animators want to do is obstruct facial expressions, especially for their main character. So the fact that they chose to have the main character's left eye covered throughout the entire movie is extremely strange. The reason they did this is because the covering of the left eye has symbolic meaning tied to Egyptian religion and the Eye of Horus. And the way this movie places so much emphasis on his left eye throughout different scenes shows that this is absolutely no coincidence. Now get this, Elio's name itself has a significance to it. Elio coming from the Greek word helios, meaning sun, and solis, the Latin word for sun, also tying back to the Roman sun god Helios. This movie has a satanic agenda that's meant to subtly program you with pagan ideas and get you to accept the spirit realm as a positive thing. Demons can only attach themselves to you if you give them a doorway, and the higher-ups behind this film knew exactly what they were doing. It's all meant to target kids who don't know any better to engage in rituals and contact the spirit realm. And they do this by portraying these demonic creatures as being cute and appealing, so that subconsciously you start to feel more comfortable with them. It's all so deceptive when you realize it. Elio is a movie that I didn't think was top tier Pixar anyway. There are still things I appreciate about it as a film, but I just felt the need to make this to tell you, be careful of what you watch, be critical of the messaging, because if you're not, you're gonna be slowly and subtly deceived into believing satanic ideas. Anyway, let me hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.